Okay, so we're going to do factoring by grouping today, okay? And this is pretty easy, okay? Um, it's just like factoring out your greatest common factor, okay? Except for you'll be doing it with two terms instead of just one, okay? So what you do is you got four terms here. Okay, there's no greatest common factor with those. All right, so what you do is you basically just split it up. Okay, so we're going to group these two together and those two together. Okay, and then you just do what you know how to do from the previous uh, uh, videos. Okay, so your factor here is going to be x squared, x squared. Common factor there is 2. Okay, so you factor out x squared here. Okay, that's going to leave you with x minus 1. Okay, I'm going to factor out plus 2, positive 2. So that's going to leave you with x minus 1. Okay, these two guys are the same right here, x minus 1, x minus 1. So what you're going to do is you're just going to factor out that x minus 1. Okay, so those cancel. All right, that's going to leave you with x squared plus 2 behind. So we've got x squared plus 2. Okay, and what we're factoring out is x minus 1. Okay, now it doesn't matter whether you put x minus 1 first or x squared plus 2 first, you know, it's because it's like 2 times 3 or 3 times 2. It's going to come out the same. Okay, all right, so the next one, this is the same type of deal. No GCF, okay? So I'm going to factor out x squared. There's nothing really common here other than 1, okay? So I'm just going to put 1 there. All right, so you factor out x squared. That's going to leave you with x plus 7. And I'm going to factor out, I'm just going to put plus 1 there. And then you got x plus 7, okay? These two guys are the same. Pull that out, okay? And this is going to be left behind, x squared plus 1, okay? And that's all you got to do. There's nothing to it. Try not to think about it too much. All right, so let's look at this guy here. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. There's not a GCF here. I'm going to factor out 12x. 12x. So you factor out 12x, that's going to leave you with x squared minus 3. Okay? Now, what the common factor here is 5, but since this has got a negative on that third term, when that happens, you're going to need to factor out a negative. Okay? And I'll show you why. All right, so I'm going to factor out negative 5. Okay? Negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive, so you get x squared. And then positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative, and that's going to be 3. If you don't factor out a negative, when that third term's a negative, if you don't factor out the negative, these two guys won't be the same, okay? And then you can't go any further, all right? So I'm just going to pop that thing out. And that's going to leave these two guys behind. Okay, and we're done. All right, next one. This is the same type of problem. You'll see these, once you kind of do, you know, 3 or 4 of these, it's no big deal. You pretty much have it, okay? So we're going to factor out a there. And here we're going to factor out 3, but I'm going to make it negative 3 because of that guy, okay? So you factor out a, that's going to leave you with 2a minus b. I'm going to factor out negative 3, that's going to leave me with 2a minus b. Two guys are the same. Put it out in the front and leave these two guys behind. Okay? All right. Last two. All right. So these guys, you're going to get 5x is your common. Okay? Nothing common there, so we just put 1. So I factor out 5x. That's going to leave you with x plus 2. Put x plus 1, you put x plus 2. Factor out x plus 2. That leaves these two guys behind. 5x plus 1, and you're done. All right, last one. Okay. What's common there is going to be 3x. 3x. What's common here is just negative 1. Okay? So I'm going to factor out 3x. That's going to leave me with 3y minus 1. Okay? I'm going to factor out negative 1. That's going to leave me with 3y minus 1. Okay? Factor out 3y minus 1. That's going to leave these two guys behind. Okay? And you just put them right in there, and you're done. Okay? So don't think about it too much. You know, just find out what your GCF is, and you just kind of remember you're just splitting it up into two things. Okay? You're just doing the same thing, but you're going to have to do it twice. Okay? So if you want to just pause the video on like these last three, okay, and do it, and then turn the video back on and see if we've got the same thing. Okay? All right. Good luck.